Welcome back to SpectraCam, where we explore the magic of cinema. Today, we're diving into a film that sparkles with adventure, romance, and breathtaking animation. Anastasia, from 1997. Directed by Don Bluth and Gary Goldman, this movie swept audiences off their feet with its dazzling visuals, catchy songs, and a story of the lost princess finding her way home. With a star-studded voice cast including Meg Ryan, John Cusack, and Angela Lansbury, it was a box office hit, earning over $140 million worldwide. The film follows Anya, an amnesiac orphan who teams up with con artists Dmitri and Vladimir to travel to Paris, hoping to prove she's the long-lost Grand Duchess Anastasia Romanov. Along the way, they face the evil Rasputin, a curse, and their own inner demons. But on the surface, it's a triumphant tale of identity, love, and perseverance. A classic underdog story that leaves you smiling. And let's not forget that stunning animation. From the snow-covered Russian landscapes to the glittering halls of the Paris Opera, every frame is a work of art. But is there more beneath this glittering surface? Marcus thinks so. Let's peel back the layers.
Beneath the dazzling animation and catchy tunes lies a story soaked in existential dread. Anastasia is not just a fairy tale, it's a narrative about the trauma of erasure. The real Anastasia Romanov was murdered at age 17, along with her entire family, in a basement by Bolshevik revolutionaries. The film takes this brutal historical fact and repackaged it as a hopeful fantasy, but the shadow of that violence never fully disappears. Anya's amnesia isn't just a plot device, it's a metaphor for the way history forgets, the way trauma buries itself. She has no memories of her past, because the past is too painful to remember. And what about Rasputin? He's not just a villain, he's the embodiment of the curse of history, a figure who represents the dark forces that destroyed the Romanovs. His song in the dark of the night is a chilling anthem of vengeance, reminding us that the past never truly dies. Even the film's central question, "Who am I?" is a philosophical nightmare. Anya searches for her identity, but the answer is a bloody legacy she can never escape. The film tries to sell us a happy ending, but the haunting specter of the real Anastasia's fate lingers. This is a movie about trying to outrun the past and failing.
Let's talk about the incredible talent behind this film. Directed by Don Bluth, who had previously worked at Disney and created classics like The Secret of Nimich and An American Tail, and Gary Goldman, Anastasia was a landmark for Fox Animation. The voice cast is phenomenal. Meg Ryan brings warmth and vulnerability to Anya. John Cusack is charming as Dmitri, and Angela Lansbury steals every scene as the Dowager Empress. Kelsey Grammer as Vladimir provides comic relief, while Christopher Lloyd as Rasputin is deliciously menacing. The budget was around $50 million, a huge sum for animation at the time, and it paid off. The film grossed $140 million worldwide, becoming one of the highest-grossing animated films of 1997. Critics praised its lush visuals, memorable songs by Lynn Ahrens and Stephen Flaherty, and its emotional depth. It even won 2 Academy Award nominations for Best Original Song for Journey to the Past and Best Original Musical or Comedy Score. The film's success proved that non-Disney animation could thrive, and it remains a beloved classic. The production value is top-notch. The hand-drawn animation is fluid and expressive. The backgrounds are rich with detail, and the CGI, used for Rasputin's magic, adds a thrilling edge. This is a movie that dazzles from start to finish.
But the production was far from smooth. Don Bluth and his team faced immense pressure from 20th Century Fox, which was desperate for a hit after a string of failures. The studio interfered constantly, demanding changes to make the film more Disney-like. including adding a romantic subplot and toning down darker elements. Bluth, known for his darker, more complex stories, had to compromise. The result is a film that feels torn between two visions, a grim historical drama and a light-hearted adventure. The animators worked grueling hours, with reports of 80-hour weeks and high turnover. The film's budget ballooned, and Fox's lack of faith led to constant reshuffling of release dates. Emotionally, the team was haunted by the subject matter, animating the death of a real family. Even in a fantasy context, took a toll. The character of Rasputin was particularly troubling. His undead form was meant to be terrifying, but test audiences found him too scary for children, forcing more cuts. The film's happy ending was also a point of contention. Some writers felt it betrayed the tragedy of the Romanovs. In the end, Anastasia is a product of compromise, a film that succeeded despite its troubled birth. But those scars remained visible to those who look closely.
Now let's talk about the visual climax of the film. The song Journey to the Past and the subsequent sequence where Anya and Dmitri travel to Paris. This is pure cinematic energy. The animation transitions from the cold gray streets of Leningrad to the warm golden hues of Paris. The camera swoops through iconic landmarks, the Eiffel Tower, the Louvre, the Seine, in a breathtaking montage that captures the wonder of discovery. The song itself is a masterpiece, with lyrics that speak to finding your purpose. Heart, don't fail me now. Courage, don't desert me. Meg Ryan's vocals are full of hope and determination. The animation during this sequence is fluid and dynamic, with elaborate backgrounds that feel like a moving painting. The use of color is brilliant. The cold blues and whites of Russia give way to the warm oranges and reds of Paris, symbolizing Anya's rebirth. The scene also showcases the budding romance between Anya and Dmitri, with their interactions infused with playful tension. And let's not forget the technical achievement. The hand-drawn cell animation combined with early digital effects for the train and cityscapes creates a seamless, immersive experience. It's a sequence that makes you feel like you're on an adventure, the kind of movie magic that reminds you why you love cinema. This is the film at its most triumphant and visually stunning.
The emotional climax, however, is far darker. The revelation of Anya's true identity through the music box. When she finally remembers the song her grandmother sang, it's not a moment of pure joy. It's a moment of profound loss. The music box plays Once Upon a December, a haunting lullaby that evokes a past that is irretrievable. The animation shifts to a surreal flashback, a ballroom of ghostly dancers, the Romanov family in happier times, and then the revolution, the gunfire, the escape. Anya doesn't remember the massacre. She remembers the love that was destroyed. This scene is philosophically heavy because it asks, is knowing who you are worth the pain of what you've lost? Anya gains a past, but she also gains a history of horror. The Dowager Empress's acceptance of her is bittersweet. She has found her granddaughter, but she has also been reminded of her son's death and the fall of an empire. The film tries to frame this as a happy ending, but the subtext is tragic. Anya can never go back to the life she had. She can only move forward with the weight of her history. And what about Dmitri? He was a revolutionary who once wanted to kill the Romanovs. His love for Anya is built on a lie. The emotional climax is not about reunion, it's about the impossibility of escaping the past.
But despite these dark undercurrents, Anastasia has a legacy of hope that inspires audiences to this day. The film's central message, that you can choose your own identity and find your family, resonates with anyone who has ever felt lost. Anya's journey from an orphan with no memories to a confident young woman who embraces her past and her future is empowering. The film encourages us to believe in second chances, to trust that love can heal old wounds. Culturally, Anastasia has had a lasting impact. It introduced a new generation to the tragic history of the Romanovs, sparking interest in that era. The songs, especially Journey to the Past and Once Upon a December, are still performed and covered today. The film also broke barriers as a successful non-Disney animated feature, proving that there was room for different storytelling styles. It's a film that families watch together, passing down the message of resilience and hope. For many, it's a comfort movie, a reminder that even in the darkest times, there is a way forward. The positive cultural impact is undeniable. It's a story that celebrates the triumph of the human spirit over adversity. And that's something worth celebrating.
But there's also a legacy of despair. Anastasia serves as a grim warning about the dangers of romanticizing history. The real Anastasia died brutally, and the film's fairy tale ending whitewashes the horrors of the Russian Revolution. It tells us that even the most terrible events can be repackaged as a sweet story, that trauma can be erased by a catchy song. This is dangerous. The film also perpetuates the myth that the Romanovs were innocent victims, ignoring the oppressive regime they represented. By focusing on the princess, it sidesteps the millions who died under Tsarist rule. On a personal level, the film's message of "you can be anyone you want" is hollow when your past is defined by violence. Annie doesn't really choose her identity. It's chosen for her by a music box and a grandmother's longing. The film's happy ending feels forced, a denial of the tragedy that makes the story compelling. In the end, Anastasia is a reflection of human failure, our need to sanitize history, to create comforting lies rather than face painful truths. It's a film that, despite its beauty, reminds us that some wounds never heal, and some stories should not be told with a smile.
So what's the final verdict? Anastasia is a must-watch for any animation fan or lover of classic storytelling. It's a film that combines stunning visuals, memorable music, and a heartfelt story that will leave you smiling. Whether you're watching it for the first time or the 100th, there's always something new to appreciate. The intricate background art, the expressive character animation, or the emotional depth of the performances. If you haven't seen it yet, do yourself a favor and add it to your watch list. It's a journey worth taking, and if you have seen it, it's time for a rewatch. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to SpectraCam for more deep dives into your favorite movies, and comment below. What's your favorite scene from Anastasia? Is it the dazzling Journey to the Past sequence? Or the haunting Once Upon a December? Let us know, and remember, cinema is magic, and this film is pure enchantment.
But as the credits roll on Anastasia, and we hear that final triumphant reprise, let us not forget the silence that follows. The film ends with a kiss and a promise of a new life, but history offers no such comfort. The real Anastasia died in a cellar, her body burned and buried in a mass grave. The music box is silent. The ghosts of the Romanovs do not dance. They haunt. This film is a beautiful lie, a dream we tell ourselves to escape the nightmare of the past. And perhaps that is its greatest value. It shows us how desperately we need stories to make sense of senseless tragedy. But as we leave the theater, we must remember that the fairy tale is not the truth. The truth is that some journeys do not lead to Paris. They lead to a grave. And that is the quiet, haunting reflection we must carry with us. Thank you for watching SpectraCam. Good night.